today we're discussing relationships in the creative industry, in the creative space as well. And I'm joined by two guests, Ben Sam and KBG. And these guys have been on both sides of this equation, so hopefully they'll shed some light on a few questions I have regarding this topic. But no pressure, gentlemen. You can plead silence if any of the questions don't apply to you. But yeah, before we begin, I'd like you guys to introduce yourselves, and then we'll have a deep dive into the topic at hand today. So we'll start with Ben, if we can.
Well, you already mentioned my name, so so I'll say it anyway. My name is Ben Sam. I'm a creative. I've been a music promoter for a while. I've been in the music industry, the filming industry, as well as the what else?
Photography?
Yes, photography.
It's a long list.
Sure. So I'm glad to be here.
Thanks for joining us. KBG?
Well, I'm Kelvin before Mumbi, KBG for short. I'm an entrepreneur, creative entrepreneur. Mainly I focus on audio-visual stuff like content creation, music, design, fashion, and whatever encompasses what it means to be a creative. So yeah. I'm within that circle. Yeah.
What do they call people like you guys? Multifaceted?
I think so. I think I've seen his journey, and I don't really know what to call it, because you're gonna just pin him to one thing, because he has been a rapper once, and I don't know whether he failed as a musician. He just decided to.
He likes to say that.
I don't think failure is the right word. Maybe he pivoted.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
I feel like I was clever enough to see that there's no money, so I needed to do something that would make me money.
Yeah. Well, I'm glad I'm talking to people who do a lot in the art space, because you form a lot of relationships as you go on these journeys, and I suppose that's where we should start. How did your journey actually start, and where are you now?
Hey, my journey has been a very long journey, so for me to take you all the way back, we just might have you've seen the Titanic movie, it's as good as 3 hours.
Yeah,
so I don't think we'll have so much time. So I had been in the communications industry, graphics and printing, and after being there for a while, I decided to switch to photography. Did that for a while, made a name for myself. Blah, blah, blah. We know the story. So I expanded to videography. Then during that time also, I was so much into music. Since unlike him, I couldn't have the confidence to step on the mic. At least he did. So I'm like, okay, why don't I work with people who can actually make music? So I started interacting with musicians, and by then I identified players. There was Dali, there was Lydia back then. So I was able to work with guys like Janta, some producers in Blanta, Daredevils, who produced music, we promoted it. We were quite successful with some of the projects. Of course, people will talk about the successful ones as if we didn't have some flopping. You know that?
Yeah.
You can have some flops, people won't talk about them.
It's just success.
Yes.
But the flops actually.
They're usually there.
Elevate the success.
Yes. So basically, I've had my fair share in the industry of music.
And now you're basically doing what we're trying to do, podcasting?
Yeah, then eventually, just like him also, you're like, okay, I think I can also do
You
this.
failed or you pivoted?
I pivoted. So I also pivoted to podcasting, because one time I was with my friend Yamikan. He's a doctor at Central. So like, why don't you do podcasting? I'm like, that's interesting. I think I'm gonna have to give it a shot. So when the podcast Malawi guys were there, I'm like, okay, guys, I want to join you guys. So okay, dope. Then we did it. I think it's been doing so well so far. I think we are getting bigger. The fan base is growing. So I think we're in the right direction.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, speaking of direction, where did your journey start? How did you choose that way to go?
Well, I started off as a musician, as he's already said. It started from where I'm coming from. My dad used to be a radio personality. from Malawi Broadcasting Corporation, NBC. He just retired like 2 years ago. So he used to bring like music back home, and we got exposed to a lot of that at a younger age. So I developed an interest. From then I started doing my own stuff, like producing, recording other artists. Like the first artist that I started recording, people might not believe, but I've recorded with Lawi for the longest time, like Indira Day. So that's when things started getting interesting, because it was just about passion, like creating music for the fun of it, not knowing that it was gonna, get our names out there. And then we started performing it. From then, I moved to Lilongwe. That was in around 2012, 2013, somewhere there. And I went into TV, started working at TV for a bit as a presenter, producer. Started producing my own shows there, and well, the journey kept on going. From that, the music part of things was a bit slow, because I was like now getting serious into like building something bigger. And at that time, I think we had a discussion earlier that at that time we didn't have what the new artists here these days have, like the internet. There was no such thing, and it was really hard to put out music. So for most artists that I know around that era, they kind of like maybe switched to something else, because it was really hard to penetrate. But for me, I decided to like go into TV. From TV, I resigned in 2016, started my own thing called Nyali Music. Well, I started like producing music for other artists, kind of like just giving a platform for people to come through and create their content, and we'll provide video services and audio services. Because I felt like when I was growing up as an artist, I didn't have people to help me or give me platforms. But I was so privileged to have that, so I decided to do the same for other people. So, just because you don't have someone to help you as you're growing as an artist doesn't necessarily mean you have to do the same. So to answer Ben Sam's question, I feel like I took a step back and realized that I had an opportunity to help, to be there for other artists, So I really like to work with up-and-coming artists, especially those that a lot of people don't really know, but they have the talent. And we invite them at the studio, they perform, and we create content, put it out there. So from then, people started knowing the name, and we were contracted by other companies back then. Now we're still contracted. We're under contracts with a few other organizations and private entities. So we do like produce for them content, documentaries, reels, and I am a proud artist to say that I was part of the podcast Malawi when it was started. So for me that was a journey that I'm happy to see what it's doing. The people that they are really talking to, what they're trying to do, as a creative, hard for people that are doing great things in Malawi. It's just creating stories. It's just a narrative. I'm an artist, so you barely hear it. You see, so these are the kind of stories that we want to see, and I'm so happy to see that it's not just one person. It's like a bunch of people that are doing these things. So it's becoming an industry. So I'm really excited to be part of that.
Awesome. Well, this is about relationships. So like you were saying, back in the day, there were certain things you didn't have access to. How were you guys forming relationships? How did you find the artists to work with? How do you get contracted for stuff? How are you building these connections and forming these relationships?
I think at least phones used to work at that time. So to communicate and have access to studios, we could easily reach out to, if for example I want Lawi and I know he's his friend, I would find him. Or can I, how do I get to Lawi so he can connect me? And if Lawi is interested, that was mostly the case. Oh, working with this guy, okay, they decide to reach out back. Then you work on something, because it's not easy to just work with anybody, because everyone has got the principles for how they want to you have an image of your, for example, the identity of Lawi's music, so it means he cannot just work with anybody. He has people here, this person I can work with this and that. So to reach out to, for example, Faith, his type of music, and you also have to know who other people can also work. So don't go for example, Faith, and just pick a hip hop guy. Wow, we know I know the guy. Wow, rough, and that's gonna be spread up now.
Yeah.
So we always had ways, like the same way that the guy that people still used to date. People used to write letters and wait for a response for a couple of days, right? So people used to communicate. We used to communicate in one way or the other. Yeah, but it's easier now. There are groups. There are so many pages: Instagram, Twitter, TikTok. You can easily find someone.
You don't have to go to a radio station, to a TV station. Now you can have your own channels. Distribution, like places, your own platforms where you have your own fan base where they're just following you for your art. Back in the days, it was really rare to have something like that. So I think people have to be happy these days, like artists. You have to really embrace that. And
honestly, I envy these people these days because life is so easy. You know,
I didn't want to go there.
No, but basically, when I look at the industry now, I'm like, I feel like I was a John Chide then because we have
straight.
we have to fight for this. We fought for this.
Like that's what I'm saying. That for me, I'm happy to see what is happening today because I know I'm part of the journey. I've been part of the journey. The fact that you don't know me as a musician or whatever doesn't matter. The fact that we were there. And we saw the change, and now we're part of like even bigger projects that are like facilitating the things that we still loved back then. You know, like right now in the background, like he can see an artist today and be happy with what they're doing. Invite them.
But like that's exactly why the two of you are here, because as your career sort of elevated, you can make bigger decisions from the background, right? So it's the relationships you formed while you were struggling that enable that, right? So I want to talk about like maintaining the relationships between you guys, because it's I mean it's not easy, is it?
No, I think it's not easy because you can take that first.
It's never been easy to maintain relationships in the creative industry because there's so many aspects aligned, or maybe there can be a clash of interests. Sometimes it's about Konobo, we barely work together. It's a thing that is starting now. Back in the days, it was a no-go issue. You know, artists wanted to be famous by themselves. You didn't want to like see someone coming up. So it was instead of like artists identifying other up-and-coming artists, it was the promoters only. So you see promoters.
That is so true.
To
add on that, you know, for example, let's say he's a music producer, and I work with him, and a week later he hears me or he sees a picture of me with another producer. It means my relationship with him is not going to be the same. It's like I have cheated on him.
Wow.
That's how things used to be. But now things are different because you don't have to feel bad to work with other people. You know, the networks are there. But of course, still I have noticed with these days. There are still circles. There's still circles of musicians where, you know, if this guy is there, there's also that one. And it means, though, they have that world where they just want to work together. And some people also, they have turned out to be gatekeepers. They're like, okay, we have to be the ones running this. We have to be the ones running this. And these other people, they shouldn't enjoy the same privileges we have, you know, so... Well, it's politics in an industry. I think it's expected.
Yes. Look at it that way. Like the same way politics work, it's the same way the music or creative industry works. Because even in politics, sometimes you have to like come together with the opposition to create a bigger impact. Sometimes you have to find people that are aligned to your brand to create a bigger impact or to create a bigger fan base. So it doesn't necessarily mean that you guys are like, you know, your relationship is tight. Sometimes it's about doing business relationships where you see that at the end of the day, regarding Ben Sam on this type of job, it will benefit us financially. It ends there. You know, we benefit, you get your money, I get my money, I go. But sometimes it's about friendship as well. So whether we are making money or not, we still have like that friendship, you know. So I think the tricky part is like identifying the two. Who are your friends in the industry and who are your business partners in the industry? If you can be able to like differentiate and work around that, then probably you will be the smartest one. Because at the end of the day, Malawi is so small. So if you step on toes, definitely they'll be the ones to like lock you up
Yeah.
to some extent. So wapinja pesa ma the Ministry of Information or arts and culture. You never be given, you never eat that bread.
Yeah.
You know, so I feel like, you know, it's something that you need to understand as a creative. Make sure you live well with people. If you can communicate or interact with anyone at the same level, you stand a better chance of going far than trying to like be boastful doing things.
Cool. Yeah, I think you've shifted into like stuff we should talk about in terms of a new generational artist or an upcoming artist, because I'm sure everyone's always wondering what if they don't have the connections and they can't make things happen, they should get a manager, for example. Is that a thing? Is that a good idea?
Getting a manager to get connections, is that what you're saying?
Amongst other things, right?
No, I want to understand the question so that when I'm answering, I know
Okay.
I'm answering exactly what you need.
So-
want to get.
I'll just contextualize it with how we said you guys formed a relationship, so now you can make things happen together. If I'm just getting in the industry, I might want to make something happen with you, but maybe someone who came up with you can represent me better in terms of talking to you. So that's what I mean. Maybe not forming a connection, but creating opportunities, or at least pouncing on opportunities.
I think I kind of like, I agree and I disagree at the same time, because if you're a good artist, people will know. They will know you, they'll want to come to you. So, like for me, I'll answer it that way because I'm coming from an era where we did not have managers.
Yeah.
So you had to like, your art spoke for you,
Yeah.
you know, and people found you. And promoters were out there scouting. There are people still who are scouting. It's just that right now you have Facebook. That's the biggest place where you can exhibit your art.
Yeah.
And people who know and love your art will find you. I feel like GMO is one of those artists that blew from social media through his, collective of friends that he had. Like he had a producer, like an in-house producer from the get-go. That's like the relationship part, friendship. Who knew the kind of sound, who knew his artist, and they utilized Facebook and social media platforms, but also understanding the kind of music that they were making. So GMO did music for the ladies, and that's what it is.
Yeah.
You know. So at the end of the day, if you're an up and coming artist, do not be deceived to think that if you get a manager, then it's going to be a guarantee for you to get connections and networks. It doesn't work like that. You can be that lucky artist, but it doesn't necessarily work like that. The best thing you can do as an up and coming artist is to create content right about now. Create content. Make what you call this, intentional moves.
Yeah.
There are all these platforms now. You know, you can approach it in a Ben Sam, Martin Brandon, and say, guys, I want to come and podcast when I did a song.
Yeah.
They will invite you or they will accept you depending on what you're doing. There's Joy Natu, Middle Monday. I can mention a lot. There's Madness.
Yeah.
You know, all these platforms now where you can intentionally align yourself to get there. There's no such thing as kudijilira whether was couldn't exist.
Yeah.
Don't blow how I should get a manager and tell him to know.
Well, on my side, I don't know if I'm cutting you.
No, go ahead. Go ahead.
I'm going to disagree with Calvin. Calvin?
Yeah, it's okay. It's okay.
Can I call you Cal?
Yeah.
So, having a manager is the easiest way to blow up.
I don't think so, but yeah, we're disagreeing, so let's go.
Okay, so for example, Aerostar, we know who she is, right?
Mm-hmm.
I remember when she was signed with
Amazing.
the Methans. Don Jazzy worked with her for about a year or two before he announced that he has signed an artist. So they prepared, and the day he simply said, "Oh, I have signed Aerostar. She's going to do a song next week or so." That was it.
And she blew.
That was it.
Don't forget that we're talking about Nigeria, where this everywhere else, what Ben Sam saying works apart from here.
Okay. That's
I'm telling you, bro.
I
Like,
beg to differ.
Yeah.
I think I did the same
okay, give me
thing.
an example.
Give us your example.
Give me an example from here.
Give us your example.
Because, like, for Ben Sam's sake, I'm going to speak on his behalf. He can disagree. He scouted, he found talent. That was almost, for him to actually know there was talent, he heard these guys somewhere or seen them somewhere. And then he actually came there as a muscle to like make them go far.
As muscle.
Yeah, as muscle. You know? But then think about it this way. If Malawi was kind of like working as Nigeria or Zambia, the way these guys work, Besa would have gone far with his artists. They would have been somewhere. Like, I'm not disrespecting the artists that Besa founded or promoted that time. These guys are phenomenal, you know. But where are they now? Can you say or in the sense they're not talented anymore? No, it's just that the industry here works different, you know. So if you remove that element of saying maybe I need to like, that's why I think most of the people think if they move out of Malawi and go maybe somewhere else, they'll probably blow.
Yeah.
Exhibit A, Dr. Namadi did the same thing. Like he said, you know, Malawi, you don't appreciate me. Peace.
Yeah.
Went to Zambia, you know, because, you know, that's where he felt like he was going to get a bigger fan base, you know.
Yeah.
Like most people think like that.
Yeah.
But you get a little, like maybe so a fraction of like, a little fraction of artists who are still persistent from that time. Oka push even with managers to get to a point where they feel like, nobody, you know, I can also give an example of like Ketura has a manager, you know.
So I don't think it's a bad thing.
That's what he's saying.
Now, anyway, let me go back to
It
the
doesn't have
question.
to be that pleasurable, but it's usually family.
Okay, like let me ask you a question. Like from your perspective, since we have different perspectives towards management and artistry. What is your stand on like a manager is the right solution to like an artist blow? How do you like?
First, yes, to answer that, the industry is very competitive. If you have the talent to push yourself, you need a lot of things by yourself. For example, as much as you have a beautiful voice, you may not have money for a session. What was a dream? How did he do it? He was lucky enough to have a producer who believed in him. I'm pretty sure he wasn't paying for the sessions.
Probably.
And probably, I'm not sure, there must have been a videographer who's like, this is dope. Let's shoot a video for him without spending a penny. Not too many talented people have that opportunity or that luck to be in such a space. Even if you really wanted to get a network.
Sure.
Even just to get a network
Can
is
I
to
stop you
be.
there before you go on? But what if KBG's point is that you can form relationships with fans directly, basically? So
How do you form?
through making content with the phone that doesn't cost as much as the
Making
videographers.
content, no. Making content, making good song. He knows he's a producer. To make a good song and people appreciate your voice, it means I will make some right? Voice you're very not crispy. And when the song is like, damn, sounds good, right? Who's this guy? For someone to say who's this guy, it means you have started creating a demand. To create that demand, to be in the space where you're creating that demand, people are now turning, they are stopping on your timeline and be like, who's this guy? And even share, do you know this guy? It means someone else, like Dream, the producer, made him a song and be like, chill. I know you don't have money now, but let's work on this. You have some more concepts? Come now, let's work on this. So not everyone can be that lucky. And also they're not good at convincing other people to help them. So when you have someone who can do the talking for you, this is my guy, he's so good. Hear his song, So guys like us can do that. I could easily get people on songs.
So and guys like this might not entirely be defined as managers. So you need to express that, because what you are saying and what he's saying, I feel like it's like two different things. He can represent an artist and then act as a representative. So that representation can mean management, it can mean PR, it can mean comms. All of that can be done with one person. It's true.
Let me get back on that too.
Yeah. So for Ben Sam,
management, wait. Under management,
Yeah.
representing an artist is one of the jobs.
Yeah.
Exactly.
So we can also look at how the artist has to dress.
Yeah.
Hairstyles.
Yeah.
We need this, no? Like the way this guy looks, but like he does it by himself. But when I use a if my hair was like this,
Yeah.
if I put on like, so you look at the guy like, you know what? Or you have a lady just to be like, this is not nice. Someone does it for you. You as an artist, all you have to do is go into the studio and record. Everything else can be done for you if you're under management.
Yeah.
But if you don't have management, you have to do almost all that by yourself.
and most artists in Malawi don't have that luxury.
Okay.
That's where the problem is.
So the thing here is our idea of management is what we need to discuss.
We need to discuss what management will design.
Yeah.
You understand? Because like what he's saying about Aerostar.
Oh,
The
yeah.
management is a whole functioning label. There's the distribution in there, PR, comms, marketing, all of these things. It's easy for them to say they will sign a KBG 2 minutes in that blower. Because these guys already have a establishment network.
Infrastructure is
They have everything, bro.
So I like the
We
word.
don't have
I
here.
like the word infrastructure. Industry players, like should a stylist link up with the producer, scout an artist, and say we're gonna make this person a star. I'll do my bit, you do your bit, and the star just bees the star.
It can work here, but it also can't work. We are living in an era where things are not predictable.
You mean devaluation and stuff.
No, like even for artists, who blows tomorrow? You don't know. You know, who knew Zeze Kingston, for example? I mean, you know, this whole year.
And who even knew that Zeze could be dating Dorothy Shaw?
Who?
Malawi is full of surprises.
Who, man? I mean, all of a sudden, there's Zeze's doing Nyasa piano, and it's everywhere.
It's everywhere.
And trust me, most artists didn't take that thing well. Let's just be honest. Most artists were like, who's this kid? They're like, what's happening? Because everyone is like doing everywhere, you know? So, what is working in this country is like networks and finding the right people. The gatekeepers are the ones that can help you.
Yeah.
But for you to like get to that point where a gatekeeper says, I'm going to work with you,
So now we're having gatekeepers who have gatekeepers.
Yeah.
It's getting complicated.
it's a whole complicated game in this country. You know, I feel like when you have a good relationship with people that just want to see the best out of you, you should appreciate that.
Yeah.
You know, you should cherish that. For example, like just to put it in context, if I'm an artist and I know Ben Sam just loves, he's my brother and he loves my art, he's got the gear, the video gear for me, I should appreciate that. Like if I have like you as a producer and you know me, I should be able to come at you and say, bro, produce for me.
Yeah.
So I'm talking from a perspective where we also need to understand collaborations is not a big thing in this country, but it is what is propelling everyone else but Malawi. Even in Zambia, people do collaborate on a larger scale.
Yeah. Even if we go back to podcast Malawi, it's I think it became bigger when a team was assembled.
Yes,
that's what I can say. So people working together can, you know, put your creativity at one plate and boom, you grow something else. I think so. Like him, he has had his people he has been working with, Ajina Faith Aja, you know, they've done some creative stuff. The studio space, he records some acoustic stuff. It's amazing, you know, and he works with people. Yeah. So, but let me take this opportunity to ask you, what inspired you to make that song, the song "So"?
So I guess it was just an inspiration that came from like I'm in the kitchen. I just want to drink something in the fridge. It's Sobo, and the melody came. And Sobo, you know. And
like the music video when it starts, there's a small kid.
Yeah.
There's a girl. So she's on the table. She's having a glass, and it goes like, this guy.
And Sobo, you know. Okay. But I feel like that's the genesis of art, you know. It was in a place where you're just chilling and inspiration hits.
Did you get a good brand deal for that?
Bro,
I think by then the industry, when he said it was so hard to break through, I want you to answer because ndimakumbukira nthawi imeneyo oyimba amachuka but not urban artists.
Yeah.
amene amachuka analachina Billy Kaunda, Lucius Banda, Gasa, so that time. So how were they making money? They were manually getting a CD, a tape, and they convinced OGs because OGs was the only biggest distributor. You know, so they'll be like, yo, people like my music, listen to this, but they're Indians, they don't really understand local music.
Yeah.
So if they have a demand of people asking, you did a band, let's give this guy a deal.
Yeah.
So they're like, okay, we're gonna.
It was a 3 meter or 4 meter.
So they'll get it.
What's the code?
Like Zume Mafuda, buying masters. I think that's what those.
Yeah.
I think those homies. They're way ahead of the
They're way ahead of the game. So they'll buy the master, boom, they're selling all over Malawi. Chikwawa and Sunday, you find the tape. So it's my food. And at least they could play the system, you know, like cheating the metrics. You know what they used to do? They'll go there, boss, I have this tape. How we feel heavy.
Yeah.
Like, okay. Like the Indians are trying to be like, you should really do that. So
I feel like we're gonna cut out quite a few.
so they were like, okay, what you going to do? You come back tomorrow, then we'll talk about this, right? So he goes. So what he did, he would send friends. Go to the show. Say you wanna buy my Mandede album.
Yeah.
So one guy goes there. Do you have a Mandede album? They'll be like, no, we don't have it. Okay. Another one comes in. Do you have a Mandede album? So they're
like creating demand.
Yeah. So he was
Very smart.
He was creating an effect demand, and then guys would like. So by the time he goes there to renegotiate, they'll be like, okay, I think we can buy your tape. We give you this much. So yeah, so they get it. He makes sales. But yeah, but of course, when Lucius said, you don't think they were already there.
Yeah.
They make an album, they buy it, they sell.
Yeah.
But that's how the system was, and it was so hard for an album guy, and even time in also to somebody that's serious and rap, R&B, and yeah. But now you can see guys they're having a corporate deals, at least the acknowledgement and the acceptance is
more
so much
ethical
better.
and legal ways to use leverage. You can use social media. You just have to keep creating.
Even if you don't, if you're in the right track by yourself, you may not need to work with a manager. You need a manager if you don't really have a direction in some other places.
And sometimes managers come when the success has started showing. Understand? So for example, Zeze, we've been talking about Zeze. Zeze blew without he just had a team. A DJ and one of his friends is a producer, a bunch of friends. In fact, even there was because they're like related.
Yeah.
And people believed in him. And along the way, is when all of these corporate deals started coming. And if you look at the model that he's using, this guy is performing. You know, that's one of the things most artists in Malawi don't necessarily do, especially up and coming. They don't interact with their fan base on a show level. You don't have to do a show at Bingo Stadium, guys. You know, I feel like this is one of the things that I've been stressing. Like, you don't have to do a big show all the time. Sometimes you can do a show with 50 people. You know, and those 50 people can go a long way depending on how good you are. You know, so we need to also understand the power of doing intimate, intentional shows for an artist where they interact with the true fans, because that goes a long way. And when you do the shows, interaction on your social media and meeting your fans where they are, because JJC, for example, JJC is one of the coolest and biggest artists we have in this country, but probably you don't know him.
No.
You see?
But
he's big.
Why are you exposing it?
I'm giving you a point. I'm proving a point.
My point.
This guy on Facebook I think it's over 600K followers.
Wow.
It's Facebook. You should check him out. JJC is one of the biggest artists in Malawi. But most of you people don't know this guy. He's actually making money from YouTube because he monetized it, and he helps other artists to monetize YouTube. So the dynamics there's no formula, man. Let me just say that. There's no formula, but there are principles that you can follow. You know, to align yourself to success in So that's what I think.
Yeah, because the drawbacks with working with management, usually, they're not just there to help you. They also want to make money. off you.
Yeah.
So it's a good thing and a bad thing. Bad thing if you're a stingy guy, you're not willing to share because as you grow bigger, you're going to be making more money. So
artists also managers wants to make more.
So for example, you agree, okay, there's 1 million, you'll be getting 20%. 20% on 1 million is 200k. You'd be like, that's okay. I'll give you 200, okay, 800. Then as you get bigger, you're making 10 million over and kind of deals, kind of endorsements. Now
10 million, 20%.
20%, guess what? It translates to 2 million. So you start filling the pitch.
That's a lot of money.
Did they just get 2 million? Then you get a 20 million deal, he gets 400, 4 meter. Now you're like, that's a lot of money. So that's when then you start going on your pages. Like, it was okay when it was 200,000, right? Yeah, but then you start, no, my contract was not fair. But you signed, you thought you can make so much money at some point.
But also read contracts, guys.
Yes.
You need to
They do read, but as I'm saying, you think it's okay. But when you start, and my contract saying that many on America, for example, they sign an artist, whatever they spend on you, it's a loan. You have to yes, you have to pay
back. Which means you stopped like getting famous or people are not booking you, you're in debt.
Yes.
That's what it means.
Yeah.
You still have to pay back. If you're not going to pay back, they have the ideal obligation, they will keep your master. They can do whatever they want to do with your music because while the paper will believe that alone.
Wow.
So my artists and me, even Punjab, they don't understand that. So imagine that America, which will come issues already artist out and I did play. Snoop, it took a lot of years for him to buy his masters.
Yeah.
A bunch of artists, So we need to understand the game, first of all, but also understand what it means. When you are going to a manager, look for a manager as an artist, you should go there with the right intention. You should define, okay, for a manager, because if you have a definition and a proper vision of how you want to work your game, it will be easy to do all of these things because you will get a manager intentionally knowing what he's going to do.
Yes.
So game would be business and then art would be art. So mix those things and then you have leverage when you approach a manager. Or you don't have to approach a manager if you understand the game and the art.
I feel like you can do both. You don't have to sometimes if things are working out for you. But if you know you need help, approach.
Okay.
Yeah.
Cool. I think that's a great note to leave it on because it's a positive one. Like more power to the artist. So thank you for joining us, Ben Sam and KBG. I thought I forgot
yeah. So basically on contracts, that's the issue. Management contracts. So people need to stick to their contracts.
Yeah.
And usually, from the experience, I think you find people that are like, I want to leave the label. When you sign, you'll be there for 3 years.
Yeah.
And then like now after a year you want to leave, and when they say no, if you leave, you're leaving this with me, you start complaining. And you saw the other guy was crying on whatever Facebook.
We're not ending on someone else.
He's about to
we're not ending. Is there anything you want to share with anyone watching? Anything you want to plug? Where can people?
I just say, man, this is the right time for us to start supporting our local creatives. Let's watch their YouTube videos. Keep supporting the Malawi creatives. Please follow their pages, social media, YouTube, and that's the way you're gonna be able to support them on a bigger scale.
Awesome.
And I think for whatever you would like to learn as an artist, it's available online. Even if you don't have the privilege to go to college, you can have, for example, coming to hubs like this hub here, you can learn a lot of stuff. YouTube also can help you to learn a lot of stuff, literally anything. How you can brand yourself, how you can promote your music, you can monetize your music. Like almost anything you would like to learn, you can find it there. All you have to do is type how to, blah, blah, blah. That's all I can say.
That's a great note. Thank you so much, gentlemen. And until next time, see ya.